Hello, this is Alex Eames from Raspberry.tv. What have we got here then? It's the long-awaited Raspberry Pi 7-inch official DSi touchscreen display. Let's see what's in the box then. First thing is a very multilingual safety guide in about 20 or 30 different languages. And it's all very well packaged in foam. Got the driver board here. With a couple of connectors on it, we'll be using those in a minute. A ribbon cable to connect the Pi, a bit of hardware, 4 jumper leads, what else? Nicely packaged and properly wrapped in a bubble wrap, like LCDs should be packaged. The screen itself with a screen protector on. 2 ribbon cables, one for the actual screen and one for the touch overlay. Okay. Let's put the box to one side and show you how to put it together. The first thing I recommend you do is get one of the pieces of foam out of the box and upturn the screen and put it on that so that it's protected. Then you'll want to take the driver board and find this connector here and make sure it's in the open position, both ends, like that. So having opened that, we now have to connect it like this, so that that one's going to go in there and that one on the other side is going to go in there. The best way to do that is actually turn it around so that you can see what you're doing and then do it this way around, and you want to make sure that that dark bit disappears completely, and then you squeeze this one end and the other, and sometimes after you've squeezed one end you have to squeeze the other one again as well, just to make sure it's properly closed. You can see that slightly skew. It'd probably be alright, but I'm just going to make sure it's properly done. Okay, that'll do. Next we need to do this one. So this is another similar type of connector. Now this little tab goes in there, and you want to disappear it up to the end of the dark bit again. That is in properly, and then you just want to squeeze that closed, and then some of the dark bit will be showing again afterwards, but that's okay. That's now properly seated, both the ribbon cables. So the next thing we need to do is open the hardware pack and take some of these standoffs and use those to secure the driver board to the back of the screen. So just finger tight. One, two, 3, 4. They don't need to be tight, just enough to hold the board in place. You've also got 4 screws if you want to mount the Pi on top. I'm not going to do it that way, I'm going to do it slightly differently. So next we want to put the ribbon cable in. Need to put the cable in so that the silvery contacts on the ribbon cable meet the contacts on the upper surface of this connector. So we'll slide that in. It's very much like the camera connector actually. So we'll slide that in like that. It's fallen out. push it home, you can see how far it needs to go, and then squeeze, 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 and it's finally connected. Next you want to take your Pi, you want the connections on the ribbon cable to go to this side. So it needs to be like this. And oops. Okay. And that's now assembled. If you wanted to, you could put your Pi on here like that, using the extra 4 screws provided. And you want to connect your 5-volt micro USB power supply there. Turn the whole thing around. I'm going to power the Pi separately, but you can power the Pi from the same supply. There's 2 or 3 different options for that. Then all that remains is to remove the screen protector and power the Pi. This was Alex Eames for Raspberry.tv. Thank you for watching.
Hello and welcome to the video by me, the Raspberry Pi Guy. Today I bring you exciting news as the Foundation have just launched their very own touchscreen display for Raspberry Pis. It features a 7-inch panel with a resolution of 800 by 480 pixels, as well as 10-point capacitive touch. With the fantastic low price of just $60, the display promises a lot. But how does it actually fare? Find out in today's video. First, let's take a tour of the newly released hardware. So the touchscreen display comes in this packaging. Open it up and you'll find the panel, driver board, DSI ribbon cable, 4 standoffs and screws, as well as 4 jumper wires. This display is not a traditional HDMI one. Instead, it works over DSI, or the display serial interface. On the Raspberry Pi, that is this port here. The supplied ribbon cable simply inserts and you clip it down, just like with the official Raspberry Pi camera module. As I mentioned before, the display panel is 7 inches across with a resolution of 800 by 480 pixels. From my testing, I found this to be more than enough for this particular screen size. The panel is bright and the viewing angles are superb. I did the maths and the pixel density of the display works out to be around 133 pixels per inch. For comparison, an iPhone 6 has a pixel density of around 326 pixels per inch. The touchscreen display can also refresh at up to 60 FPS. Turn the unit around and you can see the driver board. This is roughly hat-sized and is directly connected to the panel over DPI. The Pi is designed to sit on top of this board using the supplied standoffs and screws. You then connect the DSI ribbon cable from the board to the DSI port on the Pi, like so. By design, the touchscreen display is meant to be powered directly from a micro USB power supply. How you power the Pi attached to it though is up to you, as there are several options available. One option is to use the driver board's broken out pins. These pins are power lines as well as an I2C interface. Using the supplied jumper cables, you could easily hook up power to your Pi's GPIO connector. However, my preferred way, and the most efficient way in my opinion, is to use a small USB patch cable between the full-size USB power out on the driver board and the micro USB power in of the Raspberry Pi. The setup looks like this. These patch cables are very inexpensive and make the whole affair neat and organized. So according to the Foundation, at full brightness, the display draws 450 mA of current at 5 volts. Therefore, if you're to power both the panel and the Pi simultaneously, it's a safe bet that you'll need a decent 2 amp power supply. The touchscreen display comes with no surround or stand. However, I am positive that other retailers and manufacturers will quickly design and produce these. The open back end of the product makes the whole module very customizable, and there's plenty of space for things such as add-ons. When plugged into the Pi and powered on, the touchscreen display acts as a primary monitor. Now the hardware on paper is very impressive, but let's see how it actually performs in the real world. So upon plugging power into the display board, the Pi 2 on the back of my display module powers up and starts to go through the boot process on the display. As you can see, the text is very crisp and clear, whilst the colours are bright. Running a few of the inbuilt demo programs proves that the display has an excellent colour range. Videos such as this short clip look fantastic, and as I mentioned before, the actual quality of the panel is very good. This means that the viewing angles are wide without nearly any distortion at all. Other demos such as these work well too, again showing off the clear visuals that the display provides. Unfortunately, there are not very many demos of the touch functionality of the display just yet. However, 10-point capacitive touch is a very exciting prospect indeed. This interfaces with the Pi over I2C, and you can expect to learn more about this in the future as developments continue. The small form factor of the touchscreen display module, coupled with the resolution and capacitive features, makes this a great product. It's fully customizable, and considering the fact that it can be yours for just $60, I think that is also a very good value product. Even more so when you factor in the price of other displays of similar size. As CEO Eben Upton discussed in my recent interview with him, Raspberry Pi have ambitions to add to the display lineup with a high-resolution 10-inch model in the future. I look forward to seeing how people embed both of these into their projects, and how industry customers use this new hardware. In conclusion, the Raspberry Pi 7-inch DSi touchscreen display is bright, clear, and has some great features. On a side note, as I mentioned before, it does not come with a stand. However, I have designed one that the display module can just slip into. This was 3D printed on an Ultimaker 2, and as you can see, is in the shape of the Raspberry Pi logo. I'll include links to where you can download it in the description below. And that's all for today's look at the brand new Raspberry Pi touchscreen display. You can buy these for $60. Scroll down to find out more information about pricing and where to buy. Let me know what you think in the comments about the Foundation's latest release, and as always, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Until next time, bye!